Hey guys, and welcome back to the Nicola Collective Podcast with your host Emilio.
And Olivia Nicola.
And we're going to talk about creating income streams for Christian men.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off in 1 Timothy 5:8, which starts out like this. But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than the unbeliever. Which is pretty strong language, and it really makes you think, why would Paul even write it like that? Why would he say that it's worse than the unbeliever? And we look at things and we could see that even unbelievers know that provisions are necessary. Even unbelievers know that if you don't provide for your household, no one eats. No one has a house to be in. The heat shuts off. No one gets to watch TV. Whatever it may be, if you don't have provisions, you do not have anything. Yeah. Now, on top of that, scripturally, biblically, why it's important to provide for your household and why not providing can make it worse than the unbeliever is the fact that provision, just like how God provides for us, is love in action. So when we provide for our family, we are loving them in an actionable step. When we provide for our family, we are showing them covering, we are representing how Christ loves the church, and when we do not do that, we are not resembling God. We are not resembling what he has called us to do. We are rejecting and we are refusing him, if that were to be.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's really the emphasis on his relatives. So women, obviously, I don't think should have the same role in provision, as especially if you're a wife. It's different when you're a, single mom or just you're out there on your own trying to make money as your own, on your own basically. But if you're a wife, I think it's kind of like there's certain roles that I think are needed to follow in order to have a productive household, I guess you could say. And also just but it's different, because I understand when there's people who can't, they have to have two people working and stuff, and it's different. But if you're just out there making your wife work for no reason, just because you just want her to work too,
want it to be 50-50.
You want it to be 50-50, I think that's kind of BS. Sorry.
So the reality is, scripture we could see in scripture, Psalm 90 or Proverbs 31, right? Proverbs 31 shows that a woman girds herself with strength. She has strong arms. She goes out into the marketplace, right? That doesn't mean that she's the provider of
strong arms?
Yeah, strong arms, meaning she holds herself up with good posture. She holds herself up. She holds her head up high. She doesn't just let herself dwindle within the time.
So, what about my arms?
Your arms are pretty strong for Anyway, in that regard, you could see that the wife's role or the woman's role is not to be the provider of her household, but to bring in extra, or to be, I guess you could say, supplementary. Not in the sense of it being beneath, but in the sense of it carries a certain weight to allow the house to flourish.
Well, yeah, because that's the most important. I would say that's the most important role for a wife, is to make sure the house is taken care of first. And then if you have extra time, you need to do that, then it should be, other working, you go to work or something if you really wanted to. But I think
I think the best way to go about life is to, as men, we should strive to be providers as we strive to have wives, obviously. When you have a wife, when you have a family, strive to be the best provider possible, to the point where your wife can be in her ultimate self, to be the woman that God called her to be. Now, does that mean she has to go out and become a teacher? No. Does that mean she has to be a nurse? No. Those are common places where women are, but that doesn't mean that she has to be in there. Be the kind of man that allows their wife to work if they want to, or if they have it on their heart to reach other people.
Yeah.
Not in the sense of they have to.
Yeah.
Make a way so that way you're providing for your household, so that you are fully covered, one, by God's grace, but financially covered, so that way your house is not scrambling. You need to take care of your house, because it's your first ministry. If you don't take care of your first ministry and you try to do outreach and you try to tell people all these things, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot because you have no like you have nothing.
Yeah, and I think it's gotten kind of backwards in society now with people saying, "Oh, women should work, women need to do this," and the 50-50 and and it's kind of just like ruined the whole beauty of marriage and family units, I guess you could say, and the ability to like have like a mother role or a wife role, and it's like like what happened to this? Now everyone wants to be like men,
Yeah,
and it's like you can't, like, as women we're not designed for that. It's like I like how our like relationship is, because I can do stuff with you if I want to, and you allow me to do that if I want to.
and I'll ask you for help for certain things
Yeah,
once in a while.
and I do, like, in the beginning it was more so we did a lot of the stuff together, and we did a lot like of building together, and I think that was really good. But then it's like now it's like, okay, during the, like, can you handle this on your own? Yeah, so you take care of those things and I take care of other things, and it's like easier. So it's like, but not everybody has our situation. Not everybody has the same sort of business
Yeah.
or idealistic situation like this. So we understand that, but it's just like, I think as like a woman, from a woman's perspective, it's kind of like you want a guy to provide for you. You do not want some guy who's gonna make you go to work. Like, that
And the thing
sucks.
is, society has screwed things up so much, even infiltrating into the church,
Yeah.
right? To the point where men are not men they were called to be, and women aren't the women that they were called to be either. It's not one or the other. There's an infiltration, there's an attack coming within, and we have to be the ones on top of it. We have to be the ones to stop it, right? And
Yeah.
so to be very vigilant, you look at scripture and you follow it closely, but you follow God and lean into his graces and his mercies, so you
Yeah.
have true understanding of what the scripture's saying, so you have true understanding of how to go about life, because one, you're going to mess up. You're going to need times where you're reaching out to God. And when I'm saying be the provider, am I saying that you're always going to be, best of the best all the time? No, you might have some hiccups, you might have some bumps.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
You're just
you're striving
striving.
and you're trusting in the Lord, and that's the
Said at the
biggest
same
thing.
time.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah. I just think I think there's so many opportunities out there now for just people in general to just make money online. The ability to start side hustles has like never been easier, and like start like freelancing different things, like
Before we
working
get
from
into that,
home.
we need to really hone in on the fact that people need to get out of a poverty mindset, and the fact
Yeah.
that they need to look at it like, I can do this. By the grace of God, I can do this. I have a calling on my life to provide for my household. I have a calling
Yeah.
on my life to love in action. I have a calling on my life just in general by the Lord, and that is more than enough to carry me through. So
Yeah.
that's gonna bring you further. So if you have something and you set your heart on it, guess what? Man may make his steps, but God establishes them, right? Man may
Plans.
make the plans, but God establishes the steps,
Yeah.
right? And so you can walk through it. You can say, God, what do you call me to do? And you can get into a general area, but always do everything prayerfully. If you don't have any prayer, if you don't have any of that, it's going to be gone. If you don't have any faith into it, you're not going to be able to get through it, because that's what God requires of us. And that,
Yeah.
like, each of those things, each venture, each thing, like your ministry, like taking care of your home, taking care of your family, that is ministry, and that is also worship unto the Lord, because you are doing to these people as if unto the Lord, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you can look back to the gospel, and you can look at when Jesus was telling the disciples, like, if you see me hungry, feed me, and that, like, and so on and so forth. Many of you know that kind of thing. And the disciples were like, when did we ever see you needing clothes? When did we ever see you hungry? And it's like, when you do to the least of these, you also do unto me. And so, not that your family itself is the least of these, but what I'm saying is, act as if you are doing this unto the Lord, no matter what, because you are representing Christ's love for the church, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I think a lot of people have this poverty mindset where they think like they're just stuck in their 9 to 5, they're stuck in whatever they are doing that they hate. and that there's no way out of it, when in fact it's never been, I don't want to say easier, but I want to say possible, more
It's more
possible,
accessible, yeah.
more accessible than ever to like make a change. Like people have become overnight millionaires just from like deciding to post videos on the internet, like, or deciding to, you know, sell a product online, sell a digital product online, you know, like whatever. And it's like, it's become so accessible. Like, you
Yeah.
don't even need a seller. You don't even need to have knowledge in certain industries.
And you don't have to
Like,
you don't have to get rid of your 9 to 5, get out
Yeah.
of your 9 to 5 right away. You should keep that because you need that stability until it builds into something great. Because
Yeah.
it could be overnight, but it could take some time to build things.
yeah.
Some time to learn, some time to put things out. So, like, these things are amazing. And looking at all the things we now have access to, it's crazy. It's mind-boggling because, like, think about it. Like, you're not only able to just do work, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, whatever your schedule might look like, and then walk home with the same check every single day. If you do more work, you typically, if you're working for yourself, you get more results.
Yeah.
Right? You do more things, you get more from it.
Yeah.
At work, you kind of, like, if you do more stuff, you get paid the same.
Yeah.
And sure, like, that's great stability to know
Yeah.
that you're always going to get the same, whether you do less work, you got sick.
Yeah, and
like,
it's
if you
crazy
went
because it's
salary,
like we have some, like, you know, we have friends or people in the church who always come up to us, and they, you know, they talk to us about things that are related to if they have a business or they want to start a business or side hustle ideas or whatever. And it's like they're always like kind of curious about how you can get started, how you can make money online, stuff like that. And it's like I had a friend the other day where he was just like, you know, I was talking to him about his he's going to school to be in the medical field. And I was like, well, are you passionate about that? Do you want to do it? Like, is that something you're interested in? And he's like, no, I'm just doing that because I want to be a provider. I want to, you know, be a provider for my family one day. And I was like, well, like, there's a better option for something that allows you to not have to go and be in a boring job every single day, but instead, you know, right now, while you're young, if you're like someone who's younger before you have a family and you want to be a provider, like, follow the steps of like someone who is making money online. Because
if you're not called into it, why are you going to walk into it? It's kind of like you're walking into the fridge and it's an empty fridge, but you keep on looking back to it over and over again. Like, you're like, is there anything else that I can grab? No. Oh wait, maybe I'll grab. No. Like, you're seeing like a moldy head of cabbage in the bottom or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I interpret when people just go to jobs that they don't actually feel called to or don't actually want or need.
What I normally say is, if it's something you're passionate about, continue to do it. Do it in your 9 to 5 if it's something you're passionate about and you really like enjoy it. Like, there's people who are doctors, there's people who are lawyers, there's people who are in the engineering field and they love it. That's fine. Do that. But then if you hate what you do and you want just a way to work as least as possible and have the most freedom as possible, start an online business. Start making money online, because there's nothing that's gonna be able to be the same for you in terms of like freedom wise. Like, you're not gonna find a job that gives you this amount of freedom if you don't go and work virtually. Because a lot of people, like, they like, I either say, you know, start a boring business, or, you know, because boring businesses are the ones that make the most amount of money, because people either need a service that they don't want to do or can't do, or need a product that they don't in a field that they know nothing about and want to learn something about. And you could be the one that supplies them with the answers, and it's not that difficult to get into.
Yeah. Another thing is that a few episodes back, I mentioned an analogy about monocrops, agriculture, right? and how dangerous it is to just grow one thing. Could you imagine, just again, like if you haven't seen that episode for the first, you're imagining it for the first time. If you have, just reimagine this. Close your eyes, do whatever it takes for you to imagine something. But think about just a field full of, like, a field full of corn, I guess. Just a cornfield, right? Every single season you reap your harvest, right? You plant it, you reap it, but then you gotta wait till it's ready, right? But that means over and over again, one, the soil gets dry. It has no nutrients over time, like it's gonna be extracted from the roots. But at the same time, you also have to wait constantly for the new harvest. But if you were to plant multiple things that are ripe in different seasons or different parts of the season, you could reap this one and you could reap that one. You could reap another one, another.
Mm-hmm.
So multiple streams of income gives you fail safes. Multiple streams of income allow you to grow simultaneously and safely. Another thing that I wanted to mention was I think it was like a thing plotted from like the Native Americans. They called it Three Sisters, and it was corn, beans or lentils, and squash, right? So the corn grows tall, and then the squash kind of like fills it, keeps the rodents out, and it like protects things. And the legumes, whatever it may be, whatever type of beans it is, provides nitrogen and nutrients into the soil so that way they constantly grow. So it's like they're kind of feeding into each other. They're preparing each other for better growth. So there's different streams of income that can kind of connect to each other that allow you to excel exponentially and thrive as opposed to just, I'm going to trim this one here. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
Oh, now it's back. 5 months later. You can't go on 5 months later income for rent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't say, oh, well, I'll pay back rent for, like, maybe in California where we live, like, with how crazy the policies are or whatever, but don't screw someone over like that. But seriously, like, you can't, then you shouldn't do that. That's wrong.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to constantly reap the harvest. And on top of that, the Lord calls us to give our first fruits. Now, does that mean we're obligated and mandated to tithe? Not necessarily, but it's a calling. It's something to be able to give back to the Lord because our finances, our provisions are His first, and He allows us to steward it. So steward it wisely and show up and allow the Lord to take place. And that can do so much. Maybe it doesn't do everything financially, maybe it does. But there's other moments in your life where the Lord shows up because of your obedience, because of your generosity, just towards His own heart. Because you're worshiping Him with your ventures, you're worshiping Him in everything that you do, and you bring excellence to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a whole mouthful. So, what are some ways you think men can get started if they're in a 9 to 5 and they want to just make extra money on the side?
My top two things are if you're already working a job that requires a skill and you don't have an NDA, you don't have a non-compete, why don't you just start off freelancing that skill? You already have all the knowledge. You already know how to use certain softwares. You already know how to use different things. You already know how to talk to people. You know the language. You know the lingo. So you could do that as your side hustle. And hey, you can grow something real good. If you're good at your job and you like it, do that. There's other things where you could look at different freelancing things. A lot of men can and should have skills of some sort, whether that's woodworking, that's coding, that's, some kind of hobby. You can turn your hobby into something great. But most men have some sort of extra skill beyond their job, beyond something. And there's certain things that the Lord called you to do, but you put it on the back burner, and you shouldn't have. Because you thought, oh, well, I need to provide for my household, and I want that, 6-figure income, so I'm going to stop what God called me to do. And honestly, this could be your call for coming back to what God called you to do. Now, for those who it may not be for, it's just an example of the fact that God calls you and He gives you these gifts, and you can steward them so wisely and teach other people how to navigate those gifts. And you don't have to sit idly. So you can create courses on how to do these things. Like you could teach people how to play music. You could teach people how to read sheet music. You could teach people how to do woodworking, and you could do geometry. You could do tutoring. You could do so many different things that involve online, and you could do direct stuff. Or you can do indirect stuff where people just buy into your course and they can do it. Like the less direct that you have to be with people, the less you have to be in person with individuals, the less overwhelming it has to be.
Yeah.
But if that's on your heart, if that's something God called you to do, go for it. Do it. If that's something that you love, do it. But
I know for you, you don't like being around people when you work.
no, I think that it
Yeah.
can be a little bit overwhelming. It depends on the work too, because like you'll tell someone something and then they'll think another thing and then they'll ask you 5 times over and you're just like, all
Are you
right,
talking about
dude.
me?
No, I'm just
You're
talking about
talking
in
about
general.
me.
No, I'm talking about like when I was at my old job. It was
Five
just kind of
times
like
over.
it's like, all right,
Sounds
didn't
like
I just
me.
like when I was at Uncle Tetsu and I was teaching someone how to bake? It's like, bro, like just do it. If you mess up, you mess up, and some people are afraid to mess up. And the Lord has grace, as like we have examples like in any kind of form of leadership. We should have grace and mercy with people. And so if someone messes up, if someone doesn't do right, you guide them through it and you show them that it's going to be okay. And so that was kind of an example that I saw in
That's
my own
besides
life.
the
But
point.
anyway, so yeah. Yeah, you don't have to be stuck to one thing. You do multiple things. And you could also look at examples of what other people are doing. You can go to Upwork, you can go to Fiverr, you can go to even Etsy if you want. You can go to what's the other one? You can go to WOP, which is WHOP by the way. It's not the wild
Whoop.
one. But you can learn how people are doing courses. You can go on School, which is SKOOL. There's so
Why are
many
you
different
spelling?
because some people might spell it wrong. If they want to look into it, they can look into it. But um, there's so many different things. You could even start just a basic YouTube channel to get your foot in the door with like free information, or even Patreon for paid
We've told
information. There's so many
some of our friends to just even like start knocking doors on the weekends.
knocking on doors. If you knock doors, people are going to be very
You know
upset.
you know what I'm saying. Like start knocking doors on the weekends and asking, "Hey, do you need your windows cleaned? Do you need, your lawn mowed? Like do you need your gutters cleaned out? Like whatever or
Well, I
pressure
mean, yeah, I
wash
mean,
your
in
house."
California,
Like,
a lot of the people that would have been doing those jobs are kind of they're
okay,
kind of gone.
we're not going to talk about that anymore. Anyways, so
uh,
yeah, there's plenty of opportunities out there, to just start doing something. Like it's never been more accessible. It's never been more. You've never had probably more of an opportunity than now.
we're in
do
a no
this.
excuse time.
Yeah.
You can't just say, "Oh, just because I don't know it, I'm not gonna do it." It's like, dude, you have a
Yeah.
computer, you have a phone. If you're even
Yeah.
watching this video, you have some kind of access to it.
Yeah.
So you should be able to look it up. So it's like, oh, well, I don't know how to start my LLC. Look it up. I don't know how to do this. Look it up. You
Yeah.
have no excuse to sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
If God's calling you to do something, if He's calling you to be a provider, dude, like stand up, get up, dust off whatever Cheeto dust is on your shirt, and go freaking move out. Like, do something about it. Don't just sit around lazy.
Yeah.
You can't say, oh, well, I don't really feel like it. You had to make provisions for your household. You can't just let it all dwindle away.
Yeah. And I think like what we're really trying to get at is that you can literally start anything that you can you can literally just start doing anything and start making money within like the first week you do it. Like I think that's probably one of the most important takeaways is that you can start like today and be making money by like next week. It just depends on like what you do, there's always ways to make money.
If you don't know anything, if you are you have no skill whatsoever, by the way, this is still on the no excuse topic. If you have no skill at all you have to do is take whatever money that you do have and put it in the bank, and don't put it in just a standard checking account or a standard savings account. Ask your bank about money markets, or ask your bank about, about certificate deposits, because that'll give you higher yields. No, we're not financial advisors. Are we certified? No, but we know what we do. We know what we need. And so obviously we're going to tell you the right things. We're not going to steer you wrong in that moment. Like, start investing in something. You might not be able to invest in the S&P 500. You might not be able to invest in crypto right away, because that takes a lot of thought if you're going to do it by yourself. But at least do something as simple as putting it in a higher yield savings. Because I know quite a few banks, they'll do 3.5%, 4%. Some even do 6%, compared to your 0.05% yield on your checkings account that's doing nothing for you. And then you get charged minimum rates. Yeah. There's so many different things.
Well, and you can, and it's like you don't have to this is kind of like off topic from like what you were just saying, but if your excuse is also no time, having no time to do it, it's like if you don't make the time, because it's like most people have the time to scroll like all day or scroll like
How
throughout
the
the
heck did you
day.
find time for this video, dude?
Well,
Like,
most people have the time to like, watch Netflix and do, whatever they're doing, hanging out with their friends, going out to eat. Like during those times, they can study a skill, learn it, and then offer it to people. Like that's literally what we did. We learned a skill, we studied it, then we offered it to people. And it's like before you know it, we have, multiple skills under our belt and like multiple services to offer and multiple skills we can teach people. And, I think another something that's also really important to keep in mind is like you don't have to be like an expert in anything either. Like you now with like AI and the ability to just have like access to like all of the internet within like one question to ChatGPT because it's pulling sources from every single part of the internet.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like within one question in ChatGPT, you could literally like, what was I getting at here? I was gonna say you can learn, you can become an expert with that. Like you don't need to know everything about a topic. You can just share valuable, package it, and share valuable information for
at
people
the same time that
to
you're
dissect.
sharing it with other people, you're learning it too.
Yes, but also like you can share it with those people and then they like that information is obviously like really good PhD level correct information and then they're able to like use it and apply it to their own lives and you're able to like sell product and it's like I think that's like obviously
as long as you hold integrity and you're not just selling some junk piece of information that makes no sense, that doesn't benefit anybody, but you're making money off of it. That's
make it quality, obviously, but it's like, and we are coming out with more like courses and stuff on this, like how to actually sell digital products online, which is like what we've literally been, I guess, how long ago did we start? There was like 2022, 2023. 2022.
I think it was 2023.
Something where it's like, that's where I first discovered digital products and the power of digital income and the ability to create something once and then sell it multiple times. It's something where a lot of people don't really realize the potential that you have just in your course. I don't know. You don't really realize the potential that there is out there to just make passive income.
Yeah, and when we're talking about passive income, we're not talking about like, oh, you just need to make money and just make money and keep on making money and then serve money. Like it's not about greed. It's not about serving money. It's about being like it's about holding your provisions up to the Lord. It's about being honorable. It's about doing these things for God, right? Like I'm looking down at Matthew 6:33, and it really just reminds us that we need to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is going to be very impactful as long as you seek him first. And it's not only going to impact other people's lives, but your life. And it's going to show the true integrity that you hold, because that's going to actually... Well, honestly, it's not just going to show your integrity. It's going to show God's integrity, because he's amazing. He's got everything for you. He holds you, and he protects you. He comforts you. Everything he provides for you.
Yeah.
And when we look back at provisions, because all these online courses are so amazing, but we're not called to just survive, right? And that's where the beauty of online stuff is that we no longer have to be in a survivalist mindset. Now we could be in a provision mindset.
And prosperous.
Yeah. Because think about it. If you're just surviving, what about your family? What example are you showing? Like, if you have children, or if you have nieces and nephews, if you have cousins, whatever, what example are you showing them by sitting idly and being in survival mode?
Yeah.
Sure, like, there might be a time where you need to survive to get things up, to be able to move forward and
Yeah.
everything like that. Sure. But what I'm saying is, like, only being in survival mode, having no glimpse of what it looks like to be a true provider. And it's like, you need to show them the example that you are willing to follow God so closely. You are willing to fight to make sure that your family is taken care of, to make sure that you are holding the integrity that God has for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you're not falling apart at each little turn, that you're not just sitting down for every single break that you can find. You know, it's like, imagine you're trying to run a marathon, but you sit down every 20 steps.
Yeah.
You're not running the marathon. You're just being freaking lazy and somehow getting through 26 miles, and that's going to take you 50 years to get through. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you're not going to do it. So you might as well sit down for a moment, pray to God, take that rest that he called into your life, because he brings the rest that you need.
Yeah.
Take that moment that he talked to you, that you talked to him, and run with it. Because he's not just letting you sit idly, or he's going to allow you to do your things, right? He's going to allow you to mess up. He's going to allow you to do things. He's not going to control you like a robot. But he's not just going to have this calling that allows you to sit down for things to happen.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be moments where you rest and you look at the great things that you have and the great things that you've accomplished with God. But it's not the fact that you're just sitting there. It's the fact that you've accomplished things. That's where the rest comes from. You know?
Yeah. And
Does that make sense, or was that just a bunch of rambling?
No, it makes sense. I think, you really have, like, if you think about it, there's nothing to lose. Like, there's nothing to lose here. There's nothing to, like, the only thing, this could only benefit you by starting something. Like, this is just, I think this video is really just this podcast is really just, like, this podcast episode is really just motivation to start that thing you've been wanting to start. And
wipe
feeling
off the
it
Cheeto dust from your
on
shirt.
your heart and just do it. Like, why not? Like, obviously within reason, don't quit your job right now, like, but start it. Like, instead of doing the other things that you're doing and wasting your time, start doing what you need to be doing to improve and start your business.
Yeah, if you really want to quit your job, make sure those side hustles that you're starting start paying like your main hustles, because then and only then will you be able to provide. You know what I mean? If you wanted to quit that job.
Yeah.
So make sure those are built up. They're funding you really well. They're providing for your family. And then you can go ahead and say, you know what? I know the skill. I know I'm not called into this place. You know, Lord, show me how to make my way out. You know, do it respectfully, do it honorably. Don't do it like some oh, screw you kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Do it with honor and show people the love of Jesus, even on your exit.
It's like, I think for you, it's like the best thing that happened to you was getting laid off.
Yeah.
I'm not the best thing I'm the best. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. God's the best thing that happened to you. But I'm saying, like, the best situation to have happened was that you got laid off, because now look at how far you've come in the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you've literally, like, done so much with your life, and it just started from just deciding to try something new and learning a skill. Like, that's what you did. You just decided to learn a skill. And also, it's kind of me being like, we have to do that, we have to do this. But it's like, you did it, you know what I mean? Like, and you're still building, but it starts somewhere, and sometimes people start looking into businesses because they got laid off or they got fired and they want to just start their own thing. And sometimes it's like they're not feeling called to that place anymore and they're going to try to do something else on their own.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a matter of like needing to like switch things up and improve. And, maybe you love doing what you do, but you want more freedom.
Think about this, like maybe that little side hustle that you're going to start that has to do with the skill that you're already working in.
Yeah.
Imagine now you run an agency of that skill. Now you're running that big corporation and you're running it with God in mind.
Yeah.
And now you're flipping the script. Now you have a healthy environment. Now you have all these different things laid out.
Yeah. And maybe you love what you do already, but you just need to make more money.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is just where it's like, start something on the side. And that's that, it's like there's, yeah, we're gonna probably be making another episode on like really detailed, like maybe segment by segment of like how to get started in certain things, like certain things that we've tried before, and also like marketing how to like start, because I think that's the most essential thing you can do for your business is learning how to market, especially when you have no money in the beginning and you need to be able to fund your business,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like,
Another part on the no excuses before we finish the episode is if you go on, I think it's Upflip, that YouTube channel. There's a couple guys who do their own window washing services, and they literally start with $15 in their pocket. They buy the equipment, then they go to the house, and then they make the money, and then, hey, look, I can get better equipment. And they have this whole growth, and they're able to grow the business within a couple days,
yeah,
you know, to something that's fully just running amazingly.
yeah,
So you really do have no excuse. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways.
this is where we end, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.